Good evening, everyone. How you doing? This is your coach Renz, and today we're going to continue our journey on studying the Hermetics. Now, hopefully before you watch this video on the mental universe, you have already watched the previous video where we talk about the law of mentalism, the all is mind. As I said in that video, the law of mentalism will be broken down. I thought maybe 2 parts, but it's going to be multiple parts. I also said it could be multiple parts. But it's definitely going to be multiple parts, because in this video, we're only going to tackle what is the mental universe. And I know you may say that, well, what's the point? As long as I just know that the universe is mental, then I'm good, right? No. In order for you to manifest things in your life, in order for you to raise yourself up the polarity scale, to vibrate higher on the polarity scale, to raise your frequency, to raise your kundalini, to manifest in life healings and wealth and love and all these other things, health, you need to understand what the mental universe is, where it came from, and how it, so that you can understand how to function in it as a finite living mind that you are. Now, if you recall from the previous lesson, and I won't specifically go over the previous lesson in summary, but there are certain aspects of the previous that you will hear here. So it said in the previous, we understood that the answer of what is the all is, the answer is living mind, as far above that which mortals know by those words. That is infinite living mind, right? So, and that is called spirit. So then the question begs, and this is where we start in our mental universe: what is spirit? The all is spirit. But what is spirit? The question cannot be answered for the reason that its definition is practically that of the all, which cannot be explained or defined. Spirit is simply a name that men give to the highest concepts of infinite living mind. It means the real essence. It means living mind. So spirit, we cannot fully grasp or understand what spirit is. We just know that spirit is what man has called the infinite living mind, to which the all is. And because the all is unfathomable, because the all is undefinable, because the all cannot be encased in one small pocket, one small packet, then spirit is also, since it is the all, unfathomable, it's not describable. So if we know that the all is spirit, infinite living mind, and that the universe is created in the mind of the all, we have to ask ourselves then, what is the universe, right? Now, when we ask ourselves, what is the universe, we can try, oftentimes we extrapolate different ideas, different thought processes, but in order for you to be able to manifest in your life, we need to understand the universe that's we're in, so that we can apply the universal laws to it. So the universe cannot be from nothing outside of the all, right? Because there cannot be anything outside of the all, otherwise the all wouldn't be the all. So that can't be that. The universe, the universe cannot be made up of multiple parts. The universe seems to be made up of many and are constantly at many parts, and it's constantly changing. It seems like that. We got planets, we got asteroids, we got galaxies and comets, and all these different parts. We got different physical laws of physics, gravity and centrifugal force and torque. But all of these different things, and they're constantly changing. Everything is vibrating and everything is changing. But so it can't be that the universe is made up of many, because if the universe was made up of many, then it would take away from the fact that the universe is the mental creation of the all. It has to be contained within the mind of the all. And we know that it's not made out of nothing, that from nothing came the universe, or that the universe is a total facsimile, because it has a substance. We have sensibilities about it. We can smell, we can taste, we can feel, we can think, we can know a thing, and we can not know a thing. So the universe has to be made of some substance, something, right? So it cannot be made of nothing, so because there has to be an existence, and we know the universe exists in our dimension, our physical plane that we're in. So the universe then must be a creation of the all. So how does the all create the universe? Now we covered this in the previous lesson, but just for the point of this one, we want to go through it a little bit. We want to go through it again. All right. So if the one idea that I was taught when I was younger in a church is that the all, God, the creator, the universe, created everything, created the universe from itself. But that just won't hold up. And I need you to understand this. I'm not trying to teach a religion. This is not about a religion, nor am I trying to destroy a person's experience with the creator, which is called religion. I'm not trying to destroy that either. What I'm giving you is a clearer concept, a clearer idea of what the creator God is, so that as you function, you will function better, right? So as I was a kid, I was taught that the all, and no religion can stand up to this aspect, that the God, the all, created the universe from itself. But that won't work, that won't do, because the universe, God, the all, cannot subtract nor add to itself. If God could subtract from itself, then it would no longer be the all. And I know people will say, well, then the all is that, then it is both. But I will get to that in a minute. And if the all can't add back to itself, because then the all would have had a moment, even a split second of incompleteness of the all, would make it invalid. So if at any point the all is not knowing of itself, it is not omnipresent, it is not omnipotent, it is not omniscient, it is not the all. So it cannot be made from itself. The universe cannot be made from the all. That won't work, right? Because it can't be divided or subtracted from or added to. And if it was, would not every particle, would not everything know that it was the all? Would not this necklace, every atom, everything in it would know it's the all? Every atom and corpus of myself would know it is the all, because the all cannot forget who it is, right? It cannot lose its knowledge. And it cannot become blind force or blind atoms that are delinquent or that do not know of itself as being the all, because then it will not be the all. So it can't be made from itself, right? So it's not that. Now, because of that, some people will say, well, I am God. Since the all, I am, they believe in that. So they would say that, well, if the all is in everything and I am all know, and the all is knowing of itself, and I know that I have a God is inside of me, male and female energy, then I am God. This is the scream of some people. It's humorous, but it also is dangerous, because I am not the God. Not any aspect of me is the God, has the knowledge of being the God, because I would already have known that from the moment of my of consciousness, that I am the God. Because I have not known that, because I have never known that, then I could have never been that, because I could not be the God and have forgotten. People say you are God, but you have forgotten that you are God. No, you are a God, a facsimile, a hologram, a replica of, and a finite version of the creator, but you are not the creator. So let us dispense with that idea and recognize who we truly are, so that we function better. And just as a reminder, we're coming from the book, The Kabbalion. So, but what is the universe? And what we're going to find as the law of correspondence is working in this, that as above, so below. And that is in a different lesson, but we will see that this axiom of as above, so below is present and able for us to understand that we have to understand that whatever is done on the higher planes affects those on the lower plane, and can be those same things on the lower plane. And what is done on the lower plane can affect that which is on the higher plane, and can exist on the higher plane as well. That when we manifest our creations, we manifest them in one plane, and then they become realized in another plane. So we can affect the lower planes with the higher planes, which is the law of correspondence. We'll get into that in more detail in a different video, and how you would utilize that in order to create the life that you desire, deserve, and that you are able to create. So in order for us to understand the all, let us take a journey of how we create. We've talked about this before, that man creates in three ways. the first way that we create is that we take materials outside of ourselves. We'll take sand and mud and fire, and we'll make bricks, right? And then we use those bricks to build a house. We're taking something that is not of ourselves, but is in the material world around us, and create something, create a house, create glasses, create, necklace, clothing, create whatever it is. We are creating something based on utilizing the materials that are already here. But we know that the creator cannot create that way. That would be insufficient, because there can't be anything outside of the all. Another way that man creates is that we create by procreation, by taking a portion of myself and a portion of a woman taking a portion of herself and forming a baby and creating the baby. And then the baby exists because it is a portion, it exists in this material plane because it's a portion of me and their mother. So my 3 kids are a portion of me and their mother and all our genetic ancestors prior. So our child and myself are combinations of existence from other people, material from other people, procreation. But I am not my grandfather, I am not my mother, I am not my father. Therefore, the all does not create by procreation. I know many stories, whether they are Hebrew, whether they are Jewish, whether they are, well, some people do call a distinction. Regardless of where they come from, whether it's the Buddhists or it's the Greeks or the Romans, the Sumerians, where God procreated, God created demigods, God had sex with a woman and procreated and gave a piece of himself. That piece of himself, if it is the all, would know that it is the all and can never not know it is the all. So for those who may come on in here and in the comments may want to scream that Jesus knew that he was the all, there was a point where Jesus said, he consistently, I do my Father's work, not my work, because the all can only do its work. And I know you may take that in a different way, but also the moment of saying, why have you forsaken me, would not do, because at that moment, the creator can never forget himself or itself. So there cannot be even a sliver of a moment where the all does not know it is the all, that the all is separated from itself. Therefore, the idea, slight interruption there, but so the point is that the all cannot separate itself or nor be separated from itself at any point, nor create multiple portions of itself that live outside of the all. At all times, the all must be complete within itself. So creating through birth is not a method of the all, cannot be the all, will not stand up to the test of being the all. And there is one other way that man creates, and the other way that man creates is through mental imagery. Before the Wright brothers flew a plane, created a plane, built the plane, they had the image in their mind of flying some sort of plane. Before the assembly line was created, when Henry Ford went to, the name of the gentleman just falls out of my head who did all the research in Peanuts, black man down in Tuskegee, just fell out of my head. But before he showed Henry Ford a plant and how a plant works, Henry Ford then was able to create in his mind the image of the assembly line, right? So even the smallest things are created in our mind for the, George Washington Carver, are created in our mind first. They're all created in our minds first, and then we materialize them from our mental creation. And that is how the creator created the universe, that it was through mental creation first. So it is not outside of himself, it is not through materials outside of himself, nor is it through reproduction of itself that the all would create, but only create through mental imagery akin to the way that we create through mental imagery. The all cannot create in any other way other than except mentally, because anything else would take away from the fact of the all being the all, and therefore it could not be at that point. So it may sound like handcuffs are being put on the all, and people like to say, well, God can do anything, but God cannot do anything that would devalue, anything that would take away from it being God, right? That is the only limit of God, is that it cannot take away from itself of being God, because then it would not be God. So the only handcuffs that the creator has is the handcuff of being the creator, being the all. And in order for the all to create, in order for us to exist, we exist in the mind of the all. The universe is a mental creation of the all that has been materialized on different dimensional planes, and we exist currently on this physical plane. And there can be no escape from this conclusion of reason, because there is nothing else that can be done. There's no other book. There is no other method. There's no other thought process. We can argue it till we're blue in the face, but if anything tries to go outside of those three methods of creation, go outside of the mental creation, then it defeats itself, because it doesn't stand up to criteria. And the criteria is that the all cannot take away from itself nor reproduce itself, because then it would take away from it being the all. Therefore, only through mental creation can the all exist. So our universe, so when you create in your mind, you can create a universe. You can create, Jack Kirby and Stan Lee created the Marvel universe. You can create a universe. You create universes within your mind. You can create multiple universes within your mind. But your universe is a mental creation of your finite mind, whereas the all universe and multiverse is creations in the infinite mind. Even though the two are similar, but they are very different in degrees. 1 degree of creation is in finite mind. The other degree to the extreme is in infinite mind. And I shouldn't say to the extreme. Infinite mind on one extreme. The finite mind is somewhere in the middle, where there is the blind force that is on the opposite end, that is of no mind of creation. And that is just blind force creation. That is the creation of evolution, where all of a sudden from evolution then came mind, where force of atoms and force of asteroids and primordial oozes all just happen to collide together, and from that collision of blind force, somehow mind happened, somehow spirit happened. We've already discussed before that infinite mind nor finite mind can come from nothing, that there must be a mind at work in order for consciousness to exist, right? So the universe and all it contains is the mental creation of the all. Verily indeed, all is mind. And the Hermetic axiom says, the all creates in its infinite mind countless universes which exist for eons of time, and yet to the all, the creation, development, decline, and death of a million universes is as a time of the twinkling of an eye. This is from the Kabbalion, written prior to any of your other books, from the Emerald Tablets, from the Sumerians and the Egyptians, but from the Sumerians first. The infinite mind of the all is the womb of the universe. The reason why that Hermetic statement that is there is because the law of gender must be added to this discussion of the creation of the mental universe, because the mental gender is not as base as we would like to think of. It does not mean sex, because sex is merely the material manifestation of the law of gender, but gender as relating to the generation or creation, just like the book of Genesis for generation, for creation. So the law of gender is in effect at any point where you are trying to create. And this is why you need to understand this, because creation happens in your mind first, but then if you do not understand the law of gender, the female and male energies, then you will not be able to manifest. This is why many of your prayers, and I'm gonna do a video about prayers and meditation in a minute, but this is why your prayers go unanswered. This is why some of even your meditations go unanswered. This is why sometimes you cannot raise your vibration, because you are not within understanding of how the law of gender works with the law of mentalism and creating in your mental universe. So do not think of it as being on our third dimensional plane as male and female. Don't jump to the conclusion I'm talking about a male and female God. I am not. I'm not saying that the all is a separation of the two, because then it would not be the all. It is all one. But the law, when the creative energy, when the creator, the living mind, manifests and creates things on this plane, it uses the law of nature in order to maintain, to have that creation. And so it's on this lower plane, it exists in a lower format for us to understand. Now, this is also not to say that in order for the manifestation of Buddha, the manifestation of Krishna, the manifestation of Hercules, of Jesus, or anyone else who have claimed to be a direct son of God, that God came down to this lower plane, this third plane, and impregnated a woman through the natural sex of man at this level. This is just for you to understand that at the higher understanding of consciousness, as above, so below, the law of gender, male and female energy, male and female perspective of thought, work together to manifest the creation of everything on this physical plane, not in a lewd physical format. So don't confuse that, as many would try to back you into a corner to get you thinking that they got you. But it's not that. That is not the understanding. But we have a truer understanding. It's already in your mind. You speak of the fatherhood of God and the motherhood of nature, of God the divine father and nature the universal mother. That is not saying that, see, that is on this material world, this material plane, but it's not saying that creation has to happen through the entity of God coming in a man form and having sex with a woman. But that when the creation of the universe, the creation of earth occurs, that it is the masculine energy of the creator, the sky father, the masculine creator of the fatherhood, working through gender with the female universal mother or mother nature. And I'll break that down. And you've heard it similarly before if you listen to my video on, I did a video already on gender, the law of gender. Go back to that video. I'm going to briefly talk about it here in a few minutes, but in that video I get very deep on how creation generation happens. It explains it there, and it explains it on a global, larger, universal level, not a man and woman level. But we practice it on the physical plane as male and female, whereas the male gives the sperm, the I, the will, and the female is the womb with the egg, nurtures, grows, goes through the 9 months of gestation and birth, the new creation, the baby, the will, the I of God, of the creator, which is outside of the me, works with the me to create the me manifested on the physical plane, whereas the I gives it the instruction and the will and the necessary force for it to occur. But they are not one and the same. They are the male and the female, as the I would be the male and the me would be the female energies working together to manifest things on earth. The me is always becoming, whereas the I is a being. The I is always being, the me is becoming. Go back to the law of gender video to get a deeper understanding of that. But as it is written here in the Kabbalion under the mental universe, if you will apply the law of correspondence to yourself and your own mind, you will know that the part of the you, which is called the I, in a sense stands apart and witnesses the creation of the mental images in your own mind. The part of your mind in which the mental generation is accomplished may be called the me, in distinction from the I, which stands apart and witnesses and examines the thoughts and ideas and images of the me, as above, so below. The I above, the me below. And they both have impact each other. This is why law of correspondence, law of gender, they're both working together in your mental imagery, your mental universe, and your mental creation. Because if we do not master mental creation, we will not be able to master things on this dimensional plane of understanding, so that we can elevate our consciousness, elevate our ability to bend and utilize and manipulate this understanding so that it works for us. Now, you've seen it, other people do it, and please go back to the law of gender, how I explain how people will push their eye onto your me and then bend you to fit what they desire, meaning that this is merely a tool. It is not something that is all good nor all evil. It is a tool of understanding. People use it for whatever they choose. And we must understand that The creation of the universe is much larger than Earth. The Kabbalion says that do not make the mistake of supporting or supposing that the little world you see around you, the Earth, which is a mere grain of dust in the universe, that there is more to it. That there is more out there. There's more understanding beyond what we think. We think we're the center of the universe. For generations, for centuries, man thought that it was the center of the universe. Our civilization, different civilizations thought the Earth was the center of the universe, the center of the solar system, and rebelled when those came out and said that the Earth actually revolves around the sun, and rebelled when they say the sun revolves around the center of the Milky Way galaxy. People rebelled at this idea because we have a need for us to be the center of the universe, to understand that the creative mind has created billions of multiverses and billions of other planets that have beings on it, beings of higher and lower levels of consciousness. It is difficult for people to understand that because we want to be favorited. And if the all favored any being, any group over another group, if it exhibited the emotions of jealousy, as I said in the previous video on mentalism, on mental transmutation, if it exhibited any kind of attributes that man would have, then it is no longer the all and cannot be the all and cannot be part of the all. So understand, we are not the center, but we are important. We are as important as any other being. We are not diminished in any way whatsoever. So even though there are beings higher and lower in consciousness than we are, our goal and the purpose and the ability is there for all to grow into a higher state of being. That is the journey. That is the journey that we are all on, to grow our level of consciousness. And death is not even real nor relative, even in a relative sense, because death is just a rebirth into a new life, a new understanding. Somebody put on Facebook the other day, they said, what if when you die, people have these near-death experiences. They say they see this tunnel and this light. What if the tunnel and the light that you see is you being reborn into another existence, and that the birth tunnel is what you see? The opening of the vaginal walls is the light that you're seeing coming into this new universe. And you cry because you're pissed because you've forgotten everything you knew in your previous life. Very rarely has somebody remembered their previous lives, but you are crying because you've forgotten, and now you must travel this road again in hopes of elevating your consciousness. Some would say to embody yourself with a full Merkaba, so that you don't remember that the knowledge, you don't go through a wiping. But those are for you to investigate more yourself. So knowing that we are all dwelling in the infinite mind of the all, it lets us know that there is no such thing as death, that we will continue to grow and develop until the all draws everything back within itself, and then we will come to a point of knowing the whole truth, because we have become one with the all, and we have become one with the infinite power of the Father, Mother, Mind, because they are both. Male and female energy works with the mental universe. So how do we utilize this for ourselves? How do we take this information so that we can grow from it? First is the realization and releasing of fear, that there is some reason to fear death, because there is no death. And we'll definitely talk about that more in the law of vibration, because nothing ceased to change, nothing ceased to vibrate. Everything is constantly moving. Energy cannot be destroyed. Therefore, we never cease to exist, but we just elevate to the next understanding. We elevate to the next dimensional plane. Now, whether or not some people don't, some people only elevate to maybe one slight step up, and that may be because their level of understanding is only enough to get them there. If you've read Napoleon Hill's book, Outwitting the Devil, he says that the only reason you go to hell is because you have a brain, in your brain, your fear has convinced you that you're not worthy, of a heaven. And we're going to talk about that in more detail in another video that's coming later today or tomorrow. But you're not growing, you're not getting there. That's where you're going, because that's your mental imagery. That's the creation that you had in your mind. It is those who have grown enough that they have confidence in their subconscious brain that it knows that there is no place called hell. It knows that there are other dimensional planes beyond its current understanding. Those who have convinced their subconscious mind, their law of gender, go to my law of gender video, their female brain in the subconscious, to know that there is no hell, that they are going to the highest dimensional plane that they can conceive of. That being, that person elevates there. But if your elevation is only hell, that's where you go. And if you saw my video about Lucifer, how they repeat the same mistakes over and over again, but the doors are never locked. You can always leave hell. It's all about your own brain, your own consciousness, realizing that you are a being beyond that you are creating your own hell, that this place is your own personal mental creation. When you come to that understanding, then you can create more. You can create more at this level of understanding. When you get that, then raising your vibration becomes a matter of you thinking it, and then you utilizing the laws of cause and effect, so that the law of gender begins to create it. See, and then as you create it, your vibration increases and you move along the polarity scale towards the degree that you choose, that you want to be at, that you are mentally manifesting. But gaining that understanding of that all things are created in your brain, using male and female energy, knowing that you are a finite mind but can create multiple universes within yourself, that, and not fictitious universes. Sure, Jack Kirby, Stan Lee created the Marvel Universe, but that Marvel Universe allowed them to manifest things here on this planet at this level of understanding. So if you want to manifest a certain lifestyle, yes, you can use different universes. The universe of the business you create, the universe of the job you go and have, or the career that you want to have, the universe of the marriage that you want to have, the universe of whatever it is, the relationship with your children, whatever that is, how you want to live your lifestyle. However you create that universe, understanding how it is created, and then how to use the other Hermetic laws will elevate you to it, will get you there. And once you have practiced getting there, manifesting, your subconscious brain begins to understand. It begins to reprogram, so that when you do leave this existence, when you choose to leave this existence, then your mental creation of your next dimensional plane will be higher than it would be without knowing it. That is the lesson. That is the goal. That is the journey. So that is why you don't see me arguing with people all the time, because there is no point. There is no point. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You are all my Patreon, so I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate you tremendously. And I ask you to share others to come and join this Patreon. Some videos on this Patreon are public, most are not, because these are for you guys, because I appreciate what you guys are doing for me in order to give me more time and energy and ability to bring you better and better material so that we can all grow. So y'all have a great day. Remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable.